being a seasoned comedian, because like I think a lot of people want to be comedians. Like I've always like in the back of my mind thought, oh, maybe one day I'll just try it, just for the fun of it. Like, what is the hardest part of being a stand-up comedian?
Well, I mean, I think that answer would vary between different people. For me, um, the hardest part of being a stand-up is not the material, because I can come up with material like that. I think real comedians that are comedians in their body, their brain is wired to see the funny. Even at like my mom's funeral or even at anything, your brain is wired to see the funny parts of it. I think for women comedians, which there is a difference, I think the packing and the unpacking is really a grind. The loneliness on the road and the neglect of your children and your family is really the hardest part for me. Has nothing to do with uh, the material or even the money, because we're definitely underpaid in comparison to a lot of fellas who are not, maybe in some people's opinion, as talented. However, that's not even it, because I do other things besides just stand-up comedy, film and television, and personal appearances and radio and everything like that to subsidize that income, and I'm living, just fine. But the neglect of my child, being a mom, the neglect of my, relationships, and women have a lot more stuff to pack than fellas do, perfumes and earrings and all that type of stuff. That gets to get on one's nerves, and I think that's what's hardest for me.
Well, some people are, natural comedians and move through the ranks really quickly. Like I remember I saw this little documentary about Eddie Murphy, and he said that he didn't go through this long multi-year grind. Like he did a couple comedy clubs, and then he just, right away they asked him to come on Saturday Night Live and audition, and he just nailed it right off the bat. And next thing you know, he was on television. Like he didn't pay his dues and go through this grind that most comedians went to. So it's not always, almost like a school you have to go through. I mean, are you familiar with the story?
Sure. And I mean, I'm familiar with the story. I know that era. We're, probably around the close in proximity and age. But I think that, different people's journeys are different. Eddie was in the right place at the right time in New York. Saturday Night Live was popping then. He got a chance to audition. There's only one black male and one black female per season. If more black people were allowed to audition, even myself, we probably could be on. Saturday Night Live is not the only comedy show out there that was there at that time. Like Eddie didn't do, Comic View and Def Jam, and I didn't even do Def Jam. Comic View was my national television comedy debut, and for many seasons thereafter. Everybody's journey is different. Some people are still out there grinding and struggling, like myself, that don't have any television shows, because actually you can do all the comedy in the world, but until you get on television, you're just going to be that guy down the street or that chick down the street. TV is what changes it all, and a television show that you're a star on or your own is what's going to get your money up, get even more people out to see you, and get you booked in more places. But Eddie is, there's, phenomenal people in this world, and he's one of them. It just so happens that the phenomenal women in the game, I don't, they tend to be few and far between. Cheryl Underwood being one. The queens of comedy, Laura, Adele, Monique, and some more. Another group of wonderful women. But as you can see, the queens didn't spin off into branch into game shows and talk shows and get sponsorship deals like the kings of comedy did. So the women just don't always get the breaks that the guys do. I don't know if it's the women's fault that they didn't capitalize on that, because back then, we didn't have a lot of publicists, and this and that. There wasn't any social media, or the social media that was had was, hey, that guy down there, he's funny, you should go see him. Or that girl with the short, short hair, you should go see them. That was the social media. So, everybody's journey is different, and you can't get what God got for you until he wants you to have it, no matter what you do.
There you go. There you go. Now, I was watching another interview that you were doing. I think it was on Hollywood Unlocked. And you said that you've actually dated women in the past.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it dating per se, but I came up in the Bay Area, Berkeley, San Francisco, in the 70s, lots of drugs, lots of free love, sex, group, this, that. And, everybody was pretty loosey-goosey and doing what they wanted to then. But I don't think that I was the type of chick who ever could be built to be in a long-term relationship with a chick, because I love men and men love me. But, sex is sex. Orgasm is orgasm, no matter who gives it to you. So,
well, being that you have short hair, do you have a lot of women try to approach you over the years?
Not so much anymore. Not really. It wasn't even that women were getting at me then. Most of the interactions I ever had with chicks involved a guy. You know what I mean? Most of them. Some guy introduced us, or we hooked up at some freak fest, freak Nick, or whatever like that. But it was never like I didn't go to gay pride and hook up with chicks or anything like that, or go move in and live with any chicks or anything like that. Just some, fun shit for the weekend or whatever like that. That was it. Been a long, long time.
So with that experience, what's your take on Young M.A.?
On who?
Young M.A.?
Who's that?
That's the lesbian chick who got that song, Ooh.
What about her?
Well, this is the first openly gay mainstream rapper ever.
Female, you mean?
Well, just period. Because, there's no openly gay male rappers, and I don't think there's been an openly gay female rapper up until her. She's actually talking about fucking chicks in her song.
Well, there are openly gay male rappers, but they're just not getting
mainstream. I'm talking about mainstream.
Okay.
Yes, there's always going to be a gay thing, within their own community.
Well, see, I'm not into that much of that young hip hop music. I like old school hip hop. I'm an old head. And so I'm not really one to speak on her and what she's doing. As long, I think, as she don't try to be too dudeish and think she's going to come up in the game being a man, because they will check her very quickly on that. I think as long as her music and her message is profound, then she'll get mad respect and work,
Well, she is pretty dudeish in terms of the way that she presents herself.
Yes, I know, but I'm just talking about trying to push these men around. They'll check her very quickly on that, because at the end of the day, you can bound your breasts, you can dress whatever way you want, but I guarantee you that once a month, she gonna have a period. I guarantee you that.
This is true.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit, it's interesting. I'm a little bit surprised, because there's always been rumors about certain female rappers over the years. There's been rumors about MC Lyte. There's been rumors about The Brat. There's been rumors about
Latifah.
It goes on and on, but no one's actually come forward and said, hey, I'm gay. I'm not into the opposite
Which I
sex.
think that's sad, because if you look at The Brat, and if you look at MC Lyte, and if you look at Queen Latifah, let's say they're not gay. Well, they've never been associated with any men ever. That part. And they're beautiful women. They're not trying to be stud broad. The hardest you can get in that group is The Brat, and The Brat wears more makeup than I do these days doing Dish Nation and everything. That beautiful girl. Right. She did a couple of videos where she was in a bathing suit. We're like, The Brat has boobs? Look at that. Amazing. But And I think that also what I have found is that if they like you, meaning the public, if they really like you and you really mash your product, then nobody will try to out you. It's when you're not that well liked or received and trying to be something that you're not that people are, well, you know, she gay. She, you know, it just seems to me that if they really, really like you, then whatever you are, it doesn't matter. But I mean, are those rumors? I thought those were facts.
Well, none of them have come forward and said I'm gay. So at this point, it has to be a rumor, right?
Yeah, they must pay really well because nobody's even talking. You know, they sleep with somebody and nobody's saying nothing, and everybody else is sleeping with everybody else and running around. You know, I smashed this person, smashed that person. And usually the gay and lesbian community is pretty messy. So, hey, I know that I have mad respect for all of the aforementioned women, and their rap and career game has been strong for decades. And I think that the way they carry themselves supersedes all of whoever they sleep with. But I just know that if the Brat or MC Light or Latifah was sleeping with me, I couldn't hold it. I'd be telling people. I don't care how much money they gave me.
Now, do you think there'll ever be a male gay rapper on the level of a Young M.A. where there's a poppin' song talking about fucking dudes and stuff like that?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure maybe. I don't know about in my lifetime. It's just that the whole connotation, see, is so much more acceptable to see two women holding hands walking down the street and kissing. And it's so disgusting to another part of the community to see two men doing the same that I really don't think is going to be as acceptable, even though it may be true. And sure enough, there need to be songs written about male relationships. But, you know, it's and there's so many down low male rappers that, you know, I think the homophobia aspect is going to keep it in the closet for a very long time. I don't know. I wish that there was a male gay rapper that was just a bomb, that looked good, that wasn't so explicit, because nobody wants to hear about two dudes fucking. Sorry, you can make innuendo, but nobody just wants to hear about that, you know? I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. I don't care to. Love, okay, I love him, whatever like that, like they're doing, but I just, the whole physical aspect, that's private, I think, and you don't need to be singing about it so much. But neither do the straight people. They can shut the fuck up with all that too, if you ask me.
Well, there is Frank Ocean.
Yes, and he's somewhere in the ocean, isn't he? I mean, he's out there working, but he's not on a lot of the main award shows like he could be. And he had
Well, no, I mean, he won a Grammy for his first album.
Yeah, but well, how many years ago was that? 3?
Yeah, like 4 years ago, something like that.
You can't even, you know, and you know, this industry and this society has about a 2-week attention span. 4 years ago is like 20 years ago.
Well, I'll be honest though, because I was listening to his new album, Blonde, which I thought was a pretty good album. But knowing what I know, it's like you listen to the song and you're like, all right, now, are you talking about a guy or a girl right now? Because if you're talking about a guy, I'm feeling a little weird about it. But I don't know. It kind of sounds like you're talking about a girl because you're saying these bitches looking for a check. Are you talking about bitch as a guy or a girl? And it gets a little weird listening to it, at least for me as a heterosexual man.
Exactly. I don't really know where he's coming from because, you know, the word bitch has been construed in different ways these days as well. You know, women are calling each other bitches and they call men bitches too. And then there are men that are bitches or bitch made or bitch like. So, you know, I don't know who he's singing about. I don't really listen to a lot of Frank Ocean music. But, you know, as long as he's making his coins, as the children say, as long as he's getting his coins ran to him, more power to him. I'm sure he has a huge and wonderful fan base out there. And, you know, maybe I should check him out some more. Maybe I'll do that.